2 extra cards? Are you kidding me? That's huge. If you build a small deck, you can have every card in your hand every time. Speaking of awesome, curse is giving you trouble? Not anymore. Sure, you have to give up 1 HP, but it's an incredibly small sacrifice, especially considering that curses not only take up valuable space for other cards, but can also do damage far greater than 1 HP. This bell, this beautiful, beautiful bell, gives us 3 relics a game. I do realize that the curse that comes along with it might make some people just put it into A tier, but I always seem to get really good relics with that one. Like, they're not given bottom of the barrel relics. Usually the relics that you get with that are A tier, with some B tiers thrown in. Another controversial S tier, but frankly, if you get even 1 multiplier card, you've basically won the game, because you can play that even when you have no more energy. You're always going to get the minimum. So it's super powerful. Honestly, with most of the S tier, I feel like once you get them, it's really tough to lose. Like, I play for runs and I try to exclusively get these to see how many runs I can get because these are so powerful. Like with this fossil over here, your first hit doesn't count. That's huge because, like, think of a boss 1 battle. Your first hit can be as much as 35 HP in 1 hit, just in the first act. So this can save you a 35 HP? That's huge. But then I was looking for something brown and sticky and I found this and it's amazing. I mean, if you have a curse or a dud, okay. And you win the game. This little friend up here gives you HP each round. It's not super fun, but it's helpful. If you want a super fun one, that's the ice cream cone. Your energy carries over from round to round. So what I like to do is save them up, especially if I have a bomb, and you can do like hundreds of damage in just 1 turn, which is super helpful for like the last bosses. Speaking of last bosses, this snake here has your back. Basically, if you die, it's going to restore you to half your HP. And this poker chip over here is actually kind of ironic because it does the opposite of leave things to chance. It allows you to plan out your hand by choosing which cards you will start with. And so if you are working with a small deck, which you should be, come on now, unless it's a daily run, if you're working with a small deck, you can really strategize the whole thing with that. Now this guy, rare but helpful. Every 5 rounds, your enemies can only hit you with 1 damage. Super helpful. But one I like even more is this one. When you use a power card, it turns another card into costing 0. Which if you do it right, you can first use all your lowest cards, so all your like 1 energy cards, and then just have your power card and the higher cards, like the ones that cost 3 energy, and basically save 3 energy by making it free. I love a good bargain. You know I love it. This one will play your first card that costs 2 energy twice. It does require a small sacrifice to get, but come on, that's pretty awesome. Any cards where you can play it twice or multiple times, super lucrative. Then we got Nifty, where basically you get to choose a card out of 3 after every round. Does it add time onto the game? Yes. So if you're trying to go for a record time, maybe it's not S tier for that, but for every other use case, S tier. And I'm once again seeing double because this doubles your potions. Now, how great that is really depends on the potions that you have. But if you get good potions, that's powerful. You know, you start the round with 4 strength instead of 2. If you get fairy in a bottle, instead of only 20% HP, you get 40. Now, I like these because when you discard a card, something's going to happen. You're going to get blocked, or it's going to deal damage to your opponent. I like getting rewarded for discarding cards. It's like spring cleaning. And then I like this one because at rest stops, you can dig for relics. And relics are like the best thing. So always dig for the relics, unless your HP is ridiculously low. The toolbox is really cool too, because every round you get to pick a card, and they're usually good rare cards. With this, after every round, when they let you add a card to your hand, you can instead choose to add 2 max HP. That is huge. That's amazing. That is one of the best relics ever, because you don't need a big deck of cards in your hand. It doesn't help 99% of the time. But having more HP, that's helpful. Inception, it's the unceasing top, and it will ensure that you never run out of cards. Once you run out, You just keep picking up cards unless you have a curse, in which case don't have curses when you have the unceasing top. And I often get that mixed up with the branch because they're kind of similar. Because when you exhaust a card, you pick up more cards with this branch. And in my head, that's similar because you can end up with a lot of cards. Frankly, whenever I see those two, that's when I know I can just sit back and relax the rest of the game. It's going to be smooth sailing. Those are game winners. All right, now we're on the A tier. And these guys are cool too. This is going to give you 2 extra cards at the beginning of every match. This is going to give you 1 extra card at the beginning of every hand. Keep those decks small, and they're really helpful. Speaking of which, I put this in A tier, even though it's a simple one, because it allows you to switch some of your cards. You choose them, and instead of having to remove the cards, it's going to replace them, and I've found that it's pretty often the cards are better than the ones that you're replacing. This is going to give you 2 HP every time you use a power card. Keep those power cards, and that's just free HP. This is going to round up your hits to 5. So if you were just supposed to hit somebody with a 2, you're hitting them with a 5. You know how I'm rubber and you're glue and everything that you say and me bounced off of me and sticks to you? Well, so do these thorns. And that's literally what this does. If an enemy goes to hit you, they get hit and lose 3 HP. I like this one, and also the one underneath it, because they give you a lot of gold. And with that gold, you can buy a lot of stuff. You can buy some of these S tier relics. So that's why I like those. This one starts you with 3 shivs. That's helpful, but I wish it was 3 shivs per turn, not just at the start of the match, hence the A. This feather replenishes energy every time you go to the merchant, which is great. But this one will not only refill your HP all the way up, it'll also give you 7 more. Now that I think of it, I probably should have put in S tier, but it's just not as fun as one like ice cream or the sticky one. So I don't know. It's like an A+ tier. The crown is cool because it gives you more energy, but it reduces your choice in cards, which isn't a huge loss if you're keeping a small deck. But if you're trying to collect rare cards, that's kind of not great. But you can make cards work. It's not all about the cards. So that's why I feel like that can still be super powerful. Speaking of which, a lot of these can be super powerful if given the right circumstances. Like this guy that looks like a macaroni is great because when you knock out one enemy, you get more HP and more cards. But if you're playing around where there's only one enemy, it's useless. Same thing with this. Like, sure, it makes everything in the gift shop half price, but if you're at the end of the game, what does that matter? This is cool because it hits your enemies with 3 damage at the beginning of every hand, which is super helpful. I would rank it higher, but it's only 3 damage, which is great, but it's not 5. This negates the next 2 curses that you get. How cool is that? This gives you 6 block as long as you don't have any block. I often make the mistake of forgetting that I have that and then wasting block cards, which is the only reason that is not S tier. This one's so fun because it transforms all your original strikes and defense into rarer ones. And you usually get really good stuff. But speaking of frustrating because of my own user error, this will add 25 HP right before a boss battle. But I often rest just out of habit and then completely waste it. But if you have a toke, instead of resting, just remove a card. This one's great because you pick up extra cards, but you can only play 3 cards to begin with, which is pretty tough. How am I out of time? I'm not even through A tier. To be continued.